there's a lot going on in that brain, Si, and you're really
Not sure about that.
simplifying things for us. Can't be that easy, but you're doing a brilliant job, and you're really opening this up. Hi, everybody. Welcome to White Mirror. We're going to fly straight into this one. Si's got a lot of very interesting information for us, simplified, obviously, at this point. But how are you doing there, Si?
I'm good, thanks, Dave. Yeah, everything okay on your side?
All good over here, mate. No complaints. I was tortured in the gym earlier by Lee, somebody you know, I believe, and he absolutely ripped shreds out of me. So I'm hanging in there.
Good for you,
But I
mate.
feel good. I feel good, you know?
So I was thinking about something you said the other day about wallets.
Yes.
You were talking about wallets, and you were a bit confused about having it on your phone and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
I think you lost a bit of crypto at one point.
I did,
Yeah.
and you told me off for having all of that coin in one place, which makes complete sense to me.
Yeah, like I say, you don't really kind of put all of your wealth in your pockets just because you can.
Unless you're really skint.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I suppose so. So this episode, I just wanted to touch on the various different types of wallets and see what's out there. The
Great.
pros and cons of different types of wallets.
Great. I'm loving this because this is something I really need to know. Yeah, obviously.
All right. So let's dive in. Okay, so this is about custodial types of wallets, hot and cold wallets, and what all of that means. So custody, just if you have a look at the definition on Google, and I thought this was funny, just to see exactly how they define custody. The protective care or guardianship of someone or something. So in this case, your crypto assets. And interestingly, the first one, if we just look at that, that seems to be a good thing, if you ask me. And if you have your money in the bank is responsible for the custody of your money. To be honest,
it's a debatable point there at the moment, but it seems to be going the other way around. But that's not what this is about, all right?
Well, you do know that if you put your money in the bank, effectively, it's not your money. It becomes
That's what I mean.
money.
That's exactly what I mean. That really explains to me the description there of custody, the protective care or guardianship of someone or something is actually now beginning to define our cash, our money.
Yeah, if you put your money in the bank, it becomes the bank's property and they have a liability. You are actually, you are owed a debt by the bank. So, but in this case, we're talking about custody of your crypto assets and the crypto companies like that we'll soon talk about, how they actually are supposed to be the guardian of your crypto assets. The second definition is interesting: imprisonment. So this touches on perhaps the alternative side of the coin. If we have a look at centralized exchanges, cryptocurrency exchanges, they hold users' assets on their behalf. So one particular centralized exchange is Coinbase. So it lets you buy and sell crypto, but it also, once you bought it, it just stores it there for you. Now, that might be for a short period of time while you do something with it, or you could just permanently leave it there in the Coinbase wallet that you're assigned. Now, there's other centralized exchanges like Bybit, Binance, and Upbit. I think these are four of the largest crypto exchanges at the moment, the centralized exchanges. And I'm saying centralized for a reason. They're a company in their own right. The last video we touched on DEX is decentralized exchanges. And there's a big difference between those two things. So, but this is pretty much the on-ramp for most people for crypto.
Coinbase and Binance, I've used both of those.
Yeah, they're two of the biggest. and certainly sort of Coinbase is a US crypto company. These are tech companies, really, at the end of the day, but indeed, they're centralized. So what are the alternatives? If we weren't holding it within those particular crypto companies, where could we put them? So if we look at those wallets as custodial, the alternative is self-custody. Okay? Self-custodial wallets. And there are a number of different types of self-custodial wallets. There's hot wallets that we talked about. And within that category, it breaks down into browser extensions. So, for example, Google Chrome, you can install a wallet as a plugin extension inside your browser. So if you're doing stuff on the web, you might be able to make payments or make transactions within a particular website. So it's handy that it's actually a plugin to the browser. So a lot of hot wallets, if you're using your laptop, will be of this type.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. The other variety on your laptop would be a desktop application. And of course, if you've got Windows, Mac, or Linux computers, you can install a wallet as an application, a standalone application.
Okay.
And then, of course, we've got what you talked about on your phone. And a lot of people do this. They've got Android apps or they've got iPhone apps, and they go off to the app stores and they install a wallet there. Okay.
And that's hot wallets, which are?
So hot wallets, this is the main thing. They're effectively a wallet that is connected. So if you're online, you will be able to make those transactions there and then. They're part of the phone, and if your device is online, then, and this brings in the downside, there is a small chance that you might have malware or a virus or something. So this is the risk with those types of wallets. You might have inadvertently installed something that may gain access to the information inside your hot wallet.
Okay. Yeah, I think I know all about that.
Yeah. So whilst that is a small chance, it's still a chance. Yeah. So the alternative would be cold wallets, hardware wallets. And one variety of this is USB sticks. You can basically buy a USB stick. It's a bit more complicated than a normal storage USB stick because inside there it's got special software, special chips that only allow the secret keys to be used during a transaction. So even if you've got it plugged into your device, that secret key can't be taken. The only thing that the USB stick is, the only thing that the hardware wallet is intended to do is sign transactions inside the USB stick. So when you're actually about to make a transaction, the information is sent off to the USB stick. It has that special chip in there that will sign it there and then and send that message back into the laptop again to be able to send into the blockchain network.
So a cold wallet with the right information, with the right key, can become a hot wallet.
Well, not really. What I'm saying is that as you connect it, everything's executed inside the USB stick. The laptop can't do anything. So even if there is viruses and things, it would be far safer than the actual laptop itself as a hot wallet. Do you see what I mean? The USB stick is designed with special chips and stuff that it signs the transaction inside the USB stick.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah,
and most of the time it's not even plugged in, right? So
yeah, it's in a drawer somewhere, nice and safe, as long as you don't lose it, right?
That's it. And do you remember us talking about the guy that lost his crypto in the tip, in the refuse?
He wants to buy the refuse tip. So can you double up? So that's a question, Si. Can you like have a USB stick and back it up?
Well, you don't have to back up your USB stick, but you can have different types of wallet if that's what you mean. So, for example, there's no reason why you can't have one of each of these. You might have some of your crypto in one of these exchanges, in the centralized exchanges. You might have moved some of that crypto into a hot wallet that you use for convenience. So, by the way, that is the main thing about a hot wallet. It's convenient to use it, right? So you don't have to start finding a USB stick, plugging it in, doing all the putting your PIN number in or whatever it is on the actual USB stick. You don't have to do any of that. It's just clicking a button because it's all in a browser extension or something like that. You just, on the website, opens up the browser extension, sign the transaction, okay, and off you go.
Okay, right.
So that's how that all works. Now, I'll give you a few examples. So hot wallets, the software wallets, these browser extensions especially, MetaMask, Phantom, Trust, they're all big names, but there are lots and lots of them. So it depends on the type of crypto. Different communities use different wallets, hot wallets, because they have different functionality, different user interfaces that might be easier for certain types of things. Yeah, and on the cold wallet side, we've got Ledger and Trezor, which are two of the hardware style. They're actual USB sticks. You can buy them from, like off to Amazon or something like that, and you can find those products. Yeah, so that would be your safe one. But as I was saying, there's no reason why you can't have one of each of these. You have you can think of the cold wallet as your long-term savings account. And you can think of MetaMask or Phantom Trust as an extension, as being kind of like your actual wallet with your cash in it that you just want to spend. And, you might have just far smaller amounts inside those hot wallets.
So what we're saying here is that, there's different applications for different wallets, but hedge your bets a bit. Don't put everything into one. Yeah?
Yeah, that's right. The same goes for the centralized exchanges. So many people in the crypto community, they say, not your keys, not your crypto. Right. So this is one of the main distinctions between the custodial wallets. You don't actually really own the private key. They keep that for you.
Yes.
Okay. So really, all you can do is do the things that the Coinbase site allows you to do. You can move it out, but inside there, you've not got full control. And actually, they may be keeping your crypto in an aggregated sense with all the other users. It might just be that you have an allocation. You might have a certain amount of Bitcoin within Coinbase's total Bitcoin funds.
Yes, I remember one of these custodial sites going down. It was an Australian one. I don't know if you remember that. It was I can't remember what it was called now, but I lost a little bit there because nothing massive, but it went down completely, and everybody was up in arms about it because they couldn't get their crypto. There's
been a couple of exchanges. One of the biggest recently was the FTX exchange. Again, these are centralized exchanges. A lot of people at that stage blamed crypto.
Yeah, but nothing to do with it. Yeah.
Which is funny because, indeed, those centralized exchanges were run by people, corrupt people. Yeah. I think, at that time, it's funny to hear all the news and things, and again, see the media that we talked, the media bias that we talked about in a prior episode, Dave.
Yeah.
They really jumped on it.
Yeah, I think it was Bittrex. Bittrex, something like that.
There's been a few,
yeah.
But to be honest, though, I don't really see a problem with centralized exchanges. One of the things that we may talk about in another episode is the fact that banks, as we move forwards, now regulation has changed a lot, and the Office for the Comptroller of Currency in the US has recently allowed traditional banks to be custodians of cryptocurrency. And this is a major change. This is just at the start, March, April. time, perhaps at the beginning of this year, 2025. For a long time, they were absolutely prevented from holding crypto or being a custodian. But I think they felt they were being left out a bit and might not be able to make quite as much money.
Back to centralization again.
Well, indeed. And this is the kind of the trade-off. People think, well, is it right that banks should offer this kind of service? Does this go against the original idea of the people's money? You don't need a bank. We don't need the institutions. It's just us and the blockchain. However, I do think that even now is still a little bit complicated for crypto. And that's why we do these videos, Dave, to let people know. Perhaps it isn't as complicated as people think, but there certainly is that perception of complications.
Exactly and about, sorry.
Yeah. And I do think people feel safe with the idea of a bank looking after their funds, whether they be, pounds, dollars, euros, or whether they be cryptocurrency. I think banks still may have a role in looking after funds for people to a certain degree and certain ages, perhaps. Especially if you've been used to a bank your entire life. I can understand that. And here's one more thing. If you lose your keys, Dave, as we know, how does it make you feel that if you potentially to lose your password, you may lose access to your funds forever? We know that with banks and with institutions, you can always, if you prove your identity, you can always reset your password and get back in.
Yeah.
But with the blockchain, if you lose your keys, that's it. Your crypto is gone. We've talked many times about that. So keeping that safe is really important.
It's completely down to you, isn't it? You're completely responsible for your own, which is a good thing as well. I mean, that would also make me feel good that you're completely responsible for your own funds, but and there's no nonsense going on. But yeah, it's a scary one as well.
Yeah. So you can always, of course, move. You keep some of them in those centralized exchanges and then move some of it off, moving to self-custody when you need. So how do you go about that? And if you remember in the last episode, or one of the last episodes, Dave, we talked about how the blockchain works. And when transactions in the blockchain happen, all they're really doing is doing a debit and a credit from one account to another. And they're just moving between addresses, right?
Yeah.
And then, of course, balances in different wallet addresses will change. Now, we gave the example of Bob and Jill, I think in the last episode, moving 0.1 Bitcoin from Bob to Jill.
I wonder what he was giving her that for. I can't work that out. I was like, 12 grand. Paying her off. He's paying her off.
But it doesn't have to be Bob and Jill. It could be you and you. You moving money from one of your accounts to another account. And one of those accounts might be your Coinbase wallet address, and one of them might be your MetaMask wallet address. So that's how you basically move some of your crypto from custodial to self-custody wallets.
Okay.
And that's not as hard as it sounds. We talk about these addresses and look at them, they're really long. That's the thing about Bitcoin addresses or crypto addresses, blockchain addresses. They're quite long strings of letters and numbers. So when we move money from bank account to bank account, we're asked to put in the sort code and the account number, etc. Well, all we really need to move is just to know where it's going is to know what your recipient address is. And if you're in Coinbase, for example, one of the workflows in the app is really, really straightforward. So you literally would paste that long address in. You definitely copy and paste it. You wouldn't start typing that out, would you?
Yeah.
Or quite often they allow a QR code. So you scan the QR code and it will just boot.
Nice.
Yeah, that'll fill that in for you. But also Coinbase does some clever stuff, like you can actually put in an email address, and if they happen to have that same user in the Coinbase platform, they'll be moving it from, say, me to you within the Coinbase platform. But
Yeah, a little bit like Revolut kind of thing, isn't it?
exactly, yeah. So
Yeah.
that only works if they know your email address in their system. But most of the time, you probably put an actual wallet address in to be clear about where you want to transfer it to.
Okay. Cool.
So once you put that in, you'd say, right, I actually want to transfer about $20 of stay Bitcoin, but it could be anything. You could be saying it's my Ethereum that I want to move, it's my Solana that I want to move, it's my Render tokens or my Helium mobile tokens, all those ones that we talked about in prior videos, and how much of it you want. And actually, it lets you do both ways. You can actually put a specific Bitcoin figure in, or you can click it to reverse and you can type, I want $20 worth of Bitcoin.
Okay.
You can see in this case that it says, right, okay, well, that means you want to transfer 0.000683 Bitcoin. Yes, we talked about sats, didn't we, in one of the last? So that's a number of sats that you're actually transferring rather than a whole coin. Okay. And it's going to the address that you typed in, or not typed in, you pasted in or scan the QR code for. Mm-hmm. And then once you're happy, you preview it and it will say, right, send $20 to that address on the Bitcoin network. It's going to cost you a network fee of 56 cents. That's quite a lot because it's on the Bitcoin network. Do you remember me saying that it's actually quite expensive to move Bitcoin around these days?
Yeah, and slow, you said, yeah.
And slow, because it's one of the first ones, because Bitcoin's so valuable in the first instance, and because it's one of the first, that's why it's so slow. That's why we called it digital gold. We don't move it very often, but we might be, rather than doing lots of transactions and certainly not buying cups of coffee with it, we might just be keeping it for a store of wealth.
Yeah. Well, there's the famous pizza incident, wasn't there, a long, long time ago? That pizza's worth a lot of money now, eh?
Yeah, I think they bought, 3 pizzas for quite a number of Bitcoin, didn't they?
That was a lot, yeah.
We might do a video on that at some point.
Yeah, I remember it in the news, yeah.
So the send time here is estimated to be about 30 minutes. And so your total is going to be $20.56. But $20 will reach the recipient, or $20 worth of Bitcoin will reach the recipient. Mm-hmm. But you'll be paying quite a bit in the network fee. Now, if you were doing Solana or something like that, which I told you is faster, far cheaper, same with Ethereum, they're all different, slightly different. Well, look, Ethereum is quite high gas fees. By the way, that's one of the terms that we use, gas fees. Is that the exchange, or is that's the actual network fee? That's the transaction cost. It's how much in gas it costs you. It's actually the compute power that's used to move or just for the computing resources that are used by the validator or by the Bitcoin miner to move to create your transaction and put it into the blockchain. Looking at that from my perspective, once you get over the key, the code there, I mean, which, if you think about it, when you're doing a bank exchange, you've got to put your name, you've got to put the sort code, you've got to put, your SWIFT. Once you get kind of used to that, this is a pretty simple process. Oh, yeah. It's not scary. I think the main thing is people just feel daunted by it all. Yeah. So hopefully that kind of gives you a bit of the pros and cons of different types of custodial, self-custody versus... Yeah, absolutely. I think you're absolutely right. It's certainly helped me a lot. It really has, because I'm not keyed up on this, but I didn't know I had a hot wallet on my phone, that kind of thing. So it's really helpful. But also, what I think is helpful for people is just to show how, once you've actually set yourself up and bought some crypto, how you can move it around and how it's actually becoming it's really becoming part of our financial system, and very useful. Very useful. It's very safe, very useful. Yeah. So certainly different cryptos for different purposes. Solana
Yeah.
would be cheaper to move around, only
Yeah.
a cent or so, 1 cent.
Okay, mate.
Around that.
Thanks again, Si. I mean, this is all brilliant stuff. I mean, hopefully we can start looking into at some point, how to set these things up and help people a little bit with that. Because,
Yeah,
you're looking, I suppose the whole daunting is taking that first step.
it is. And like I mentioned before with the centralized exchanges, that is normally where people start because it's the on-ramp for your fiat, your kind of pounds, dollars.
Yeah.
To start off, you actually buy the crypto with your credit card or debit card, etc. And Coinbase, for example, or Binance allows that to happen. And then once you've got your crypto, you're into the whole blockchain world then. But yes, those centralized exchanges are good places to start.
I agree.
They have a lot of KYC, know your client, and your kind of AML, your anti-money laundering side of things that
Right.
you need to jump through all those steps, sign up with all of your information. But once you're there, you're there.
Right, mate. You're opening this up for us, Simon. Your knowledge. I know there's a lot going on in that brain, Si, and you're really simplifying things for us. Can't be that easy, but you're doing a brilliant job, and you're really opening this up. So, thank you for that.
You're welcome, Dave.
Okay, so let's leave it there for this one. I do believe you're off. I don't know if is it Hollybobs? You're off on your Hollybobs somewhere?
Well, yeah, there's a bit of both. So I'm going to have a little look around Japan and see what's going on there in the crypto world, Hong Kong, and we'll see.
Mate. Could you just say something in Cantonese for us?
Lei hao ma, how are you?
That's quite sexy.
Okay, mate. No, my Cantonese is terrible.
It sounded very good to me. I don't know what you're really saying. I'm sure that has another meaning. All right, mate. Listen, have a great trip, a safe trip. And I hope that we can catch up while you're over there. It'd be very, very nice to catch up with you while you're there.
I will send you a few little snippets of information while I'm there. Maybe we can have a quick call.
That'd be brilliant, mate. That'd be really good. We've got to keep this flowing. Keep it going. Keep it flowing.
Good stuff, Dave.
All right, mate. All the best. Thanks, Si.
See you later.
Bye-bye.